Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. I got a really good question on one of my Baldur's Gate mass box opening videos recently, and it was, Craig, would you consider doing a mass opening right now of Baldur's Gate collector boxes? So, in case you don't understand, today, as I'm filming this, you can buy these off of TCG Player for $136.50. And I'm the genius who bought at 231 and thought he was doing really good, and today they are 136. So the interesting thing about that is this was what I call a half premium product, where the pricing is elevated above a standard set, but it is not as high as a master set at the wholesale level. And so these collector boxes at the wholesale level were about $230. And so today, if you're selling these for 136 on TCG Player, after you pay your fees, after you pay to actually put it in your customer's hands, you are going to end up losing about $116 off the wholesale. But, that's just interesting, but doesn't get to the heart of the question. Craig, would you mass open these? And, this is the kind of great question that I love doing this for. Because initially I thought, oh yeah. And then about 5 minutes later, I thought, oh, definitely not. And then later I thought, well, maybe. And then later I thought, I just can't tell. And so the reasoning for this is, if you can imagine a draft box, draft has been intentionally engineered now to be the most boring product. It lacks most of the alts, the special treatment cards, and basically, it has foils and typically a few of the alternative type artworks that are in a set, but not all of them. And what that means is that the variability of what you get in a draft box will be least. It'll be the least of all the products. And then next would be the set boxes, because you have access to more of the alt art cards. Maybe you have alternative foil treatments that are in set and collector boxes, but not draft boxes. And you have the list. Now, when you move up another level to the collector boxes, the variability is just off the charts, because not only are you getting a lot more rares and mythics, which will tend to either be very low value. I mean, there's literally foil mythics in this set that are worth like $2. So you'll have those, but then you'll also have much better access to stuff like this. Borderless Ancient Copper Dragon. Now, I think this is probably the third most valuable card in the set. The second most valuable would be the foil version of this card, and I think the most valuable, if you count it as the same set, would be the pre-release pack promo version of this card. But you will have better access to those high dollar cards, and with that comes a lot more access to junk cards like foil packed weapon that's like a foil mythic at $3. And so the variability just goes off the charts. And again, you'll have borderless treatments of cards where the borderless alternate art version is really not worth any more in the marketplace than just a regular version of the card. So what that means is the variability is much higher, and you would have to open way more boxes of this to smooth out your variability. So that's the first problem. The boxes are way more expensive, and you would have to open way more of them to smooth out the variability. So it's possible you could correctly identify a set where the expected value, the average EV of the collector box, is high enough to justify the price that you're paying for it, but then you could just get hosed on the variability. You could just come out on the left side of the distribution and get a bunch of low value boxes and lose a bunch of money. So that's the main problem with this. And an epiphany that I had while I was thinking about this was the variability in what is in a sealed box. That is the Gambler's Premium. And I had never put the two concepts together. And so the Gambler's Premium is, well, when I have this sealed box here, it has a certain estimated value, which is the average value of all sealed boxes in existence of this, the average value of the sum of all the singles in all of them. And when you open it, you destroy that gambler's premium and you reduce that expected value into the real value of the singles inside. And so obviously if you have a single, the EV of the single is the value of the single because the gambler's premium is zero. The variability of a known single card is zero. Understand what I mean? So those concepts are connected, and when you have these collector boxes, it means the gambler's premium in them is much higher. Because if we think of something like one I always love to talk about, Strixhaven collector boxes, that Strixhaven collector's box in your closet, it could have 2 of the foil Japanese Mystical Archive demonic tutors. So odds are it won't, but it could. And so part of that sealed box's value is because those cards could be in there. And so having that really high variability, that high gambler's premium, really makes it a worse target for a mass opening. Now, you might say the price of this particular product is so beaten down right now, $136 is just, it's ridiculous. It's a result of various factors in the engineering of this product, but then it's compounded by just the macro market right now. Too many products, too many expansions, too high of print runs, all the other problems. But maybe you would say, Craig, even though I understand the variability problem, the chance that I can make all the right decisions and still lose money, I think it's cheap enough for the boxes. I want to do it anyway. What advice then? So what I would say in that case is, you know what? Since they're 136 and there's tons of them available at that price, go out, buy, and I would be careful, 3 or 4, maybe 4. Buy 4 of them, open them up, see how many ancient dragons you get, And even the problem with that is you got this flighty boy, and I think this particular card, what does this cost? Like $60 or $70 or something? And even the plain version of this card is like 50 plus. But when you get down to like the green dragon, the borderless version of the green ancient dragon, he's like $15. It's just, even though you're pulling ancient dragons, they may not be worth enough to justify it. You've got to get really the silver dragon, the copper dragon, or the gold dragon. Those are really the 3 that are valuable. The bronze dragon and whatever the last one is aren't nearly so valuable. So that's more of that variability that can hurt you. You can pull lots of dragons, but they may not be the right dragons. They may not be borderless often enough. You may get a bunch of showcase ones, which people pay less money for. You may not get foil ones often enough. And so I would open maybe 4 boxes of this, look at what you've got, see what the value is, start trying to sell some of them, see how many of the really hot cards you get, like Archivist of Ogma is a really good one. I mean, I've sold almost every copy I had of that. The only reason I didn't sell my last copy is I just raised the price a bunch, because I was like, if this is the last one I got, I'm going to have to charge at least a little more for it. So see how many other good popular cards like that you get, opening 4 boxes, sell a little bit of it, and then decide if you should move forward. Because the reality is there are no good box simulators for collector boxes. There's no Dawn Glare telling you what the EV of a collector box is. So to the extent that models for the EV of this box might exist, they are not public. People are not sharing them around so everyone can just go look at what the EV is, at least that I know of. So you would have to try to make your own model, but even then the hit ratios of things like borderless to non-borderless, foil to non-foil, foil borderless to other things, showcase to whatever. And again, even within all those things, you're at the mercy of stuff like Pact Weapon versus Ancient Copper Dragon. And so, it's really hard to build those models. You need a lot of information, and then you need a lot of data. And the information is, what are the pool rates within the pack that WotC set these up to be? And the data are, what are the actual market prices of these cards today? So overall, I would say stay away. No, the prices are not low enough to risk mass opening this. If you would really love to do it, yeah, go do it. I mean, film it and tell us what you got. Tell us how it goes. I would love to see that. But I think it would be difficult to make it work out still. And ultimately, it's a problem of risk. It's not that the EV may not be high enough compared to the sales price of these boxes today. It's that the variability is so absolutely high that you could land really far out on the left side of that distribution and lose quite a bit of money. And I don't think anyone can really afford to open enough of these to smooth out the incredible variability of a collector box. And even then, you would probably just flood the market with so many cards, you would take years to move them all. So that's what I think about that. It's a cool idea. I wish I could do it for fun because I think it would be interesting to just explore the data around that and see how it went. But ultimately, I think it's too high a risk. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Consider joining the Patreon and join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot.